Hey Facebook, how are we? It is 8:03 on this Tuesday, July 5th. Lydia and I were joking all morning saying that it feels like a Monday because it's, post-holiday, but it's Tuesday. So if you needed that reminder just like we did, there's your reminder. It's Tuesday, not Monday. So we're already 1 day down from the work week. All right, we want to catch you up on some breaking news out of Moorhead this morning, and there was a water main break, and that's why part of 2nd Avenue South in Moorhead is blocked off right now. We're talking about the 1300 block of 2nd Avenue South, and it's about a block or so south from Dorothy Day Food Pantry, if you're familiar with that. But like I said, this was all caused by a water main break. Right now, we did have our photographer Travis out there live for us, and we saw it progressively get worse and worse throughout the morning. And of course, a lot of that has to do with, city workers being able to get there. Obviously it's still pretty early, so they had to make their way there, and just waiting for them, I think, kind of made that flooding a little bit worse. We saw that flooding kind of contained in one specific area, very close to the water main, and then it kind of just spread all over. So if you drive near that area, if you drive on 2nd Avenue South in Moorhead, specifically in that 1300 block area, you're going to want to make sure that you're watching out for orange cones. We saw a lot of those set up in that area, and right now part of that road is blocked off. I don't want to say the entire road, but just drive with caution, be extra careful, drive slow, and we want to let you know about that. Also, we don't have an exact time or date or time on when this whole thing should be fixed, but Travis was telling us that he talked to some city workers and they said that this is probably going to take all day to fix. So just a heads up for those of you driving in Moorhead today. We'll of course keep you updated on that, on when this road is going to fully reopen, and we'll have that in our evening newscasts. Okay, we also wanted to point ahead to something happening today. Fargo man is going to be in court today for trying to kill his friend on the 4th of July. If you were watching our evening newscast yesterday, or yesterday at all, you probably know about this already, but 22-year-old Kyle Lovas is being held on an attempted murder charge, and we spoke with police, and they were saying that Lovas actually called police himself after he shot another person inside his home. That would be in the countryside trailer court, and this all happened yesterday morning. So neighbors are saying that, the victim is a 24-year-old man. They've been seeing that man kind of around Lovas' home, kind of on and off there. And we did look into his criminal history, and so far he does not have one in North Dakota. But of course, he will be in court today. He's on an attempted murder charge, so we'll let you know what comes out of that as well. Okay, road closures. I know you guys are like, all right, another road closure. Another day, another closure is kind of what I like to say. But it is peak construction season. We all know that. So maybe some of you guys right now are listening to the podcast from the lake and you're trying to dread your drive back home. Well, if you live in Fargo and you do need to come back home today, you should know that a lane will be closed on a kind of a busy road here. 25th Street South is going to be down to just one lane in each direction. That's going to be between 32nd Avenue South and Rose Creek Parkway. So of course it's right near the Rose Creek Golf Course area. Crews are going to be replacing sections of some curb and gutter, and then they're going to be repaving the roads as well on 25th. Work there is expected to take up to 2 weeks. So if you're antsy and you're trying to get home, you might be a few minutes later than expected. And then in Grand Forks, South 20th Street will be closed. And that's going to be from 32nd to 33rd Avenue South. So this does run right along Happy Harry's. Our producer and I were trying to look at where 33rd Avenue South was, because we usually like to go on Google Maps and try to find and pinpoint exactly where that's going to be closed. We couldn't find it on the map, but we did figure it out. It's kind of like a neighborhood avenue there, so just wanted to give you a heads up. If you try to look that up on a map, you probably won't be able to find it. But they're going to be doing some concrete repairs in that area. Again, that's South 20th Street from 32nd to 33rd Avenue South. And apparently these repairs need to be made because there's some damage on the concrete on the road there from some heat, which I thought was kind of interesting. So work there is going to last for 1 week. And then westbound traffic on 32nd Avenue South is also going to be down to just one lane at the South 34th Street intersection in Grand Forks. North Dakota DOT is going to be there. They're making these repairs. And this one is a lengthy one. This lane is expected to be closed for about a month. So wanted to give you a heads up there. Okay. So, of course, yesterday being the 4th of July and really this whole weekend, I'm sure many of you watching or listening probably had some fun with fireworks. But, of course, this is a really busy time for emergency crews, first responders, because they have to respond to a lot of these calls and complaints. So, Jenna was in studio for us. I'm going to have Jenna roll on in here and kind of go over what she found, because this is really fascinating. At least for me it was. So yeah, let's talk about some dispatch logs.
Yeah, so I looked actually at the logs for Fargo, Moorhead, and West Fargo, and I found just hundreds of calls across the region in those three cities, especially in the late night hours. Yeah. So first, with Fargo's logs from midnight on July 4th to just before midnight this morning, more than 100 of those calls were made to Fargo police. I know, and most of them happened from 9 to 11 o'clock last night. And remember, it's also a $100 fine to own or shoot illegal fireworks inside Fargo city limits. Yes. Moving on over to Moorhead, I found 32 total calls in the same time frame as Fargo, and the majority of them coming from 10 to 11 o'clock last night. And then I only saw a couple of those calls were made in West Fargo so far, including a small dumpster fire actually that was caused by fireworks. But you know, WDAY will be, you know, keeping track of those logs all throughout today and let you know if there's any new updates with that.
Yeah, totally. Thank you, Jenna. I appreciate that. Really great. Just really interesting, you know, just thinking about all those calls that those responders had to get to yesterday. So, all right, Jenna, thank you.
Scoot on back to my desk.
So convenient having desks right next to each other. All right, and honestly, like, still talking about those fireworks, you know, Lydia and I were talking, even Jenna was talking about how we woke up because of them. And, you know, they kind of have been going off all night as we are here at WDAY. We heard some fireworks going off at 3 in the morning. So, hey, if that's you, just hope you're being safe. All right. We also have Jenna talk about a disaster mitigation plan that Ottertail County leaders approved, and this is all in case of severe weather. So I want to break this down for you a little bit because it can be a little bit complicated. Each city has to come up with 2 projects at least to improve the safety for people living there, right? So we kind of looked at 3 different cities, at least Jenna did. It was Fergus Falls, Perham, and Vergas, and they are all in the process of addressing these concerns with severe weather in both hot and cold times of the year. We all know how that feels, right? Okay, so starting with Fergus Falls, the biggest thing that the city is working on there right now is building a storm shelter at De Lagoon Campground. And the reason why they want to do this is because the nearest shelter for campers right now is about 2 miles away from their campsite. And then in Perham, the city there is trying to make a plan with Ottertail Power, and they want to make sure that these power lines across the city are less likely to freeze, less prone to freezing, I guess, during storms in winter. And then in Vergas, city leaders there want to have backup power generators installed, and then so that services like the fire and police departments, they can do their jobs in case the power does go out. So if you want to check out these plans for yourself, you can always go to dl-online.com, or we wanted to let you know about that because I think this is a really neat plan. It's not something you hear of all the time, so I want to let you know about that for those of you in Ottertail County. All right, sticking in Ottertail County, we do know that a woman right now is recovering from a two-vehicle crash in Detroit Lakes from over the weekend. That happened at the intersection of Highland Drive and Highway 34, and that was all at around 3 in the afternoon on Friday. We did learn that emergency crews got a call for a crash involving a semi and a pickup, and the person who called 911 was saying there's a woman who was trapped inside that car. So just within minutes of that call, we saw pictures. There's pictures all on our website right now or on DL Online, and you can go look at that for yourself. But we saw pictures, and you could see that woman's car. It was a Dodge Ram pickup of some sort. It was red, and it was just smashed in the back. And it was just, the visuals were insane. I couldn't imagine what that was just being there on scene. But these first responders from several different agencies in that local area were able to free that woman, and then they loaded her into an ambulance. We saw a picture of her on a stretcher. So again, as I was just saying, according to these eyewitnesses, the semi rear-ended the woman as she was waiting for traffic to clear so that she could make a right turn. We are still trying to figure out who this woman is and how she's doing this morning, and we'll let you know if that semi-driver could be facing any charges, or maybe the driver in this case. We're not sure, but we will definitely get those details for you as soon as we can. Okay, we also know that a 38-year-old man is facing charges right now for rolling his ATV into a ditch. He was this man was involved, and this all happened at around 7 on Saturday night on Dakota Avenue in Riverdale. So it's about 67 miles away, a little bit north of Bismarck. Wyatt Eisenbraun is the man who is being charged. He lost control of his ATV near the intersection with Wyoming Street, and that's when he rolled into a ditch. Now, he was airlifted to Sanford and Bismarck to be treated for his serious injuries. He's expected to be okay, but he was not wearing a seatbelt, and he is facing DUI charges. So we'll let you know what comes out of that, of course, and we'll follow up on that for you. And this is kind of exciting. I'm sure a lot of you have already heard about this, but right now, you can help pick out a name for this new 188-mile bike trail that connects from Moorhead all the way to St. Cloud. And this is really neat. So it's a combination of paved and an off-road trail, and it's called the US Bike Route 20, but that's only for right now. So a lot of this trail really goes parallel to I-94 while taking advantage of some state and regional trails as well. So it runs through, Pelican Rapids, Fergus Falls, Alexandria, and then it ends in St. Cloud, which I think is really neat. And much of the path between Moorhead and Fergus Falls, we should know, are on roads, and you might be thinking, oh my gosh, that's a little bit dangerous. Well, they do have low traffic and low speeds for drivers, so hopefully that should be a much safer road for these bikers. DOT right now is down to 5 names, and they need your help in pinpointing one of them. So if you want to do that, you can just go to this story on our website, InForum.com. Really exciting. I want to see someone bike that thing, because I could not do it. All right, let's speak more on a national level of things. Of course, the big talker right now, and the big talker, it seems like forever, is going to be this deadly mass shooting at a 4th of July parade in Chicago. It happened in Highland Park. We do know that the person of interest in this case, his name is Robert Crimo III, is in custody right now. And I want to share a little bit about kind of what I saw yesterday unfolding on the news. I was off yesterday, but I spent my day kind of watching coverage on this. And if you're not familiar, this guy was on the run for almost the entire day yesterday, and we know for a fact 6 people at least are killed. I want to say something like 25 people with gunshot wounds, but then 31 people in the hospital. 1 child is in critical condition right now. And of course, we heard from some survivors, and this was heartbreaking to me. She said that she turned around to look at her dad, and right behind her dad was a girl who got shot and just was dead. That to me, I can't even fathom. But of course, this is also sparking outrage, right? I mean, it's fueling the push for gun control across the country again. And it's just crazy how this all turned out. And gosh, my heart goes out to everyone affected by this. But investigators right now do say that they're waiting on the ATF to analyze a gun that they found at the scene of the shooting, and they're trying to figure out where it came from and if Robert Crimo III was linked to that shooting. So of course, we're going to stay on top of this just as much as all these national news outlets are going to be staying on top of this, because it is really important that we get this message out to you guys. Okay. Also, we wanted to let you know a new national hotline for those needing mental health assistance. That is set to launch next week. We know that this was going to happen because we actually talked about it on First News probably a few months back. But it's going to be 988. That is the new number, the new 3-digit dialing code for the Suicide and Crisis Lifeline that was formerly called the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline. So when you send a text or you call 988, trained counselors who are already part of that National Suicide Prevention Lifeline Network is going to be ready to help them. It's really neat. It's really simple. And a lot of these representatives were saying that it's going to make it a lot easier for these older people. She was saying, veterans will know it's available, our older residents will know it's available. But of course, this benefits people like teens and young adults, and for them to know it, I think, is a really big benefit. So that new number is going to be rolled out here in the U.S. starting next Saturday. All right, let's talk about Chick-Fil-A. If you like to go to Chick-Fil-A, this one might be for you. But we do need to check to see if this is happening in our stores, so I can check on that in a little bit. But Chick-fil-A right now is testing out this new way for mobile customers to get their orders quicker. And you might be thinking, okay, I've actually seen very, very long drive-through lines at Chick-fil-A in Fargo. And there have been times where I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm really in the mood for their chicken nuggets, but I can't go because that line is going to take like 30 minutes. So maybe this is good. Right now, the company is working on what's called express drive-through lanes, and it's only for mobile orders, and it's only available in select locations. So all you have to do is go to their mobile app and then click drive-through express on that app, and then just go to the chosen restaurant. And then once you get there, you take out the app again, you get the QR code out, the employee will scan it, and then an employee will bring your order out to your car. It's like VIP service. So this right now is only available at about 60 restaurants across the U.S. I want to see if Fargo was one of them, maybe even Minneapolis. That wouldn't surprise me. Let's see. Sorry. Wow, this is some good live TV, I guess. Live Facebook. Express lanes. Let's see what comes up. Okay, I'm not seeing anything with Fargo, but I can check on that and I can comment on this Facebook Live and let you know if I was wrong. But I do know that I'm sure if you just download that Chick-fil-A app and you just look at the locations, and then you'll probably be able to see which one has the express drive-through lanes. Really neat. Probably a very good time saver there. All right, let's talk about Hot Mic. That's on from 9 to 11, WDAY Xtra, InForum.com, with Dom Izzo. Dom, what are you talking about today?
Hot dogs.
Hot dogs. Oh my gosh, yeah, Joey Chestnut. We were just talking about this after the show too, because we talked about that this morning, and I want to say, for how many hot dogs did he eat? Gosh, it was so many. It was like 70 something, or maybe 60 something in that range, and then a whole lot of madness unfolded there as well. So I'm sure Dom will talk all about that. So go join him, 9 to 11, WDAY Xtra, InForum.com. All right, and right now you can get an all-access pass to InForum.com for just 99 cents a month for your first 3 months. You get unlimited access to everything that we have access to, that we swear by on a daily basis. And you got news, you got sports, you got weather, everything. So all you have to do is go on InForum.com/subscribe. Yes, my subscribe fingers are still here. And yeah, again, InForum.com/subscribe. First 3 months you get for 99 cents a month on unlimited access. Okay, that's all I have for you today. Be careful if you're driving this morning. Lydia was telling us about some fog in the area. Specifically, it seemed like it was getting worse is what she was telling us. That was kind of the message. It started out really, really bad in Detroit Lakes, and that still might be the case. So for those of you who are cuddled up at the lake home or at the cabin, and you still need to make your way back, maybe hold off on it a little bit. Have yourself a little slow morning and wait for that fog to pass, because of course that could cause some visibility concerns. If you want me to really get into it while we're here, I should just mention, Lydia was telling us, I learned something new. So when the air temperature, or when the dew point reaches the air temperature, it gets really saturated. So that, forms a chance for either rain or fog. And in this case, it was fog. So I thought it was interesting, the science behind it. All right, that's all I have for you today. Don't forget, we have news from 4, 5, 6, 9, and 10 o'clock tonight. You can expect lots of updates to the stories that I just told you about, plus so much more that you haven't heard about yet. All right, everybody, we'll see you back here tomorrow morning from 5 to 7. Have a good day.